Alright, so what's up, YouTube? I guess we should call this melancholy. I'm putting it up here because it's kind of long-winded. Whenever I get more deep in my feelings, it gets long-winded like that. But I learned a lot about myself over the past couple days, and here's what I learned. Have you guys ever seen those videos where someone gives a homeless person like $1 million, right? And that homeless person blows that whole $1 million and they're back homeless again. And to a lot of us, we're like, $1 million, boy, I could have really done something with that, right? Well, this is what I just learned about me. Somebody, you can't, and bear with me, be patient with me because I got to get my feelings and my heart right on this. But for people that have been damaged and hurt real bad, homeless people, people like myself and others, um, they've had all the love taken away from them. And I think love and connection is the basis of everything. And so for those types of people, including myself, you can't just give them stuff. And I say that because they already have had all of their self-worth and that type of thing taken from them. And so if you just give them, it's almost like you're not worthy to get this on your own. I'm just going to give this to you. And for one, if they have low self-worth, it's going to make them feel like they're that much more less worthy. And I'm speaking on me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. And then the other part of that is that, and like I said, be patient with me. It hurts my heart a little bit because I found this out about myself. That they want to feel like they've earned whatever it is that they got. And in addition to that, if they're not accustomed to people loving on them and giving them things, or they've become unaccustomed to that, you know, I have become unaccustomed to people loving me, caring about me, giving me anything, having anything good, you know, or any good wishes towards me, right? So what that means is that if you try to speak me up, and if I hear it, if I overhear it and I know it, if I overhear it and I know it, I may self sabotage because I'm not ready. You know, I've become accustomed to zoning out. I've become accustomed to no one caring. But I think God works in a way that He wants you to see and He wants you to, learn and grow because He put me in a situation where I saw something and I self sabotaged. Self sabotaged. Um, in this particular instance, I self sabotaged intentionally, you know? And but God, even though I self sabotaged, and I know that that was not what what was so kindly and graciously put out there for me. I wasn't ready for. God wanted me to see that and try to slowly rebuild my self confidence because He wanted me to see that yes, there is at least one person out in this world that sees something good about you. There's at least one person in this world that is willing to love on you, regardless. And it may be because they're under the false assumption that other people love you too, which, no one does. But God wanted me to see that there is worthiness there. And so, with that, and I recently came across a video as well. And recently, usually, is like within the last day, but this is the last couple of days because I haven't really been online for different reasons. I've been going straight to sleep after I take care of my quote unquote day duties. And I saw this video of Puff Daddy, which he grates on my nerves, and I don't never really liked him. And I'm sure I grate a lot of people's nerves, and actually I know, and people don't really like me. But what he said, he talked about his business, and he went back into the gutter mindset where he was just like, he was making all these phone calls back to back, and he was just like, because don't nobody else give a shit about you, you're gonna have to keep doing this. and it don't matter. It was something that he said, and the way that he said it, it just brought out the desperation. You know, I saw desperation, and he knew that nobody cared about him, so he had to do what he had to do. And that is the heart and mindset that I need to have. You know, God puts you in situations for a reason. You know, I feel like I have absolutely no looks left. You know, I'm out of shape. Um, because I've cowered to people so much, you know, it gives a perception of dimness, but I'm not, you know. And so, you know, that swag that people's looking for, not there. And I don't have any of that dirt to draw people towards me either. So I have to get in the trenches and pull myself out. So that means no one can help me. And I'm gonna tell you this, you know, to any employers, anybody that might care about me, which most people don't. So I'm usually not at risk for this. Um, but people, I have to pull myself out of the trenches. And I want to thank God for Him putting me in a situation where I could see at least one person care, you know, where I saw that. But, and I'm glad I saw it, it was meant for me to see. So your time, your care, your kindness is not for granted. I have to do it myself, you know. Perhaps if you rewound it back 20 years, I'd be like, yeah, I deserve this, you know. But I've been beaten down to a pulp where any self esteem is gone, you know. So I have to rebuild it. And I wish I had that clip of Puff Daddy saying what he said, because when you saw that, you didn't see arrogant money making, you saw desperate. You saw a desperate man, desperate to do whatever he can just to survive. And not only did he survive, he makes a lot of money, you know. And so I have to be in that situation of desperation where that's where I go, you know. And I had to record here because it's so long, and it's going to be a lot longer because this is just a small part of it. But that I saw that in myself today, that I will self sabotage, which is weird because you would I was self sabotage and portraying myself as someone with low self esteem. But it's because I have high self worth that I can do it all myself. That, and not all, but that, you know, that I'm going to do my best to do. You know, that I won't let anything else happen. You know, but for people like myself, we have to do it ourselves. We have to, you know, because we've been put down and dragged down and everything else so much without any counteracting positivity that we don't have a choice, right? So that topic is very painful for me because it makes me realize how much I've been torn down. It does. Um, and there's so much more that I can say, but I'm going to let that go. Fast forward on to the next topic. So the next topic is my standard of life. I love a simple life, you know. I don't have a lot. You know, I could have a lot, but I don't. And when I say I can make a lot better money. Or I should, you know. But again, it comes to that thing about, you know, people liking you, you know. That makes up a big thing. You know, the way people interact with you makes up a big part of your success, you know. Um, I'm not going to denounce any gift that God has given me because I've been given some gifts, you know, of sight and everything else. But you guys, my heart is broken. Like, so, like I said, simple things. It doesn't take a lot of money for me. I like things very basic, you know. To me, outside of, you know, additional more money, more money, more money, I have everything, all the basics that I need, and maybe too much, you know. If I could probably, if I didn't, and I had another thought too over the past couple of weeks about work and about living in life. You know, I've always been the type of person to say that I love life. And, I want to see it all the way through. But then I had another thought the other day that I was just like, but I don't want to work for the rest of my life. And this is when Prep Daddy come back in. I'm gonna have to dig in the trenches. And I thought that's what I was doing last year when I did what I did. But that wasn't digging. Just because you set everything up nice don't mean it's digging in the trenches. You got to get out there. You got to get with people because people is what's gonna make it work, right? So if I find that puppy video, I'm gonna come back to it. But it doesn't take much for me. To me, I have everything I need. Too much. It's not nicely situated and whatever because I don't have time because the emotional pull that work and looking for work and working and all of that has on me is the detriment. I spent a lot of time, um, when I need to vent on social media, you know, or when I need to mindlessly do things just so that I don't have to, so that I'm not thinking about it, you know. And this goes back to that homeless mindset that I was talking about, how it doesn't require a lot from me, but I shouldn't be staying at the bare minimum. There's a woman on TikTok. Her name is Dana Dane, and she says she's very discreet about what she does, but she makes a lot of money. And when you look at, she doesn't show all her stuff all over the internet, but when she does show it, it's like, wow, she has 3 or 4 really nice cars, and I'm sure her place is real nice, but her place is not feminine, it's very methodical, you know what I'm saying? But I want that to be me, and she's proof to me that you don't have to be a person that's flashy and all this and that to make money, you know. And I'm sure she had some struggles too that she doesn't share about being successful in that way, And she talks about her being able to hold her own and being in the top 1% of black females making money. And honestly, I believe her. And even if it's not entirely true that it's in the 1%, she's still better than me, which a lot of people are. But what I admire about her is not only is she doing better than me and holding her own, but there's people that are doing better than me that are just mentally all over the place. Like mentally, they're nasty, they're mean, they're rude, but she's not. She has the same mindset that I have, but she does. She's doing so much better. But I think the answer to it all is love. She has family. You know, when I went through, I don't even want to talk about that, but when I went through my thing, and God is gonna make me stronger because of it. I was gonna say, okay, finally it's over. I can go back to my family and be replaced, in in who I am. I had to replace who I am again because all of who I was taken away. Didn't have that opportunity, you know. And some of the things that I've seen online on the internet, I understand why, because the perception would be that this is what it is, but it's not. Somebody misconstrues some stuff. So, you know, and my family, like I said, my mom's an immigrant. We're all first generation American, Black American, first from the Korean side, first generation here. So my mom doesn't have a lot of resources. She can't afford to have somebody whose reputation may be damaged or somebody may look at it a different way. And I get that. So with that, I'm hoping to be stronger. I'm hoping to be. I really am. Another thing that broke my heart, and I'm gonna get back to doing what I need to do. I just need to get away from it because I see where I am and I know what it is, and it is what it is. But took a walk outside to get some air, and I live in a beautiful country place, a seemingly beautiful country place, and the air felt so good. It was such a beautiful night outside, right? And as I walked past, and I'm gonna call this tribe, not my tribe, not my tribe, my tribe, not my tribe, because as I walked down the street, there was a house in the corner, and it's probably new people that live there now, but because I've never seen it like this, I've been here a couple of years, but cookout, young people, it's probably 20s to 40s to 50s. Food smells so good, and just laughing, having a good time. And that's my vibe, my energy, my spirit. I like that kind of thing. I thought it was so beautiful. And of course, I didn't look, but I listened and I felt the energy. And I don't know if those are my type of people, but, it sounded good, it looked good. It just brought to mind like all those videos I see on TikTok where people say, oh, this is a white person, they invited to cookout. I don't think I've ever been invited to a cookout, family reunion, nothing. I think once, when I was in college, and she comes to visit my page once in a blue moon, and she wasn't in college, but we had a cookout, me, her, and her sister, and you know, somebody's husband. I don't know, but I miss that. I've never been, and probably would never will be invited to a cookout. You know, unless you think of maybe when I was real little, living in Pine Chapel Village, I had a quote unquote best friend, and her family, her uncle, we would go to Buckrow Beach and cooked out once, I think, and but that person who I thought was my best friend, she saw me a couple decades later. She looked past me like she didn't know me, and it's not that you know, it's just weird, So, and there's a lot of people, when I go back and think about it, a lot of people in my life that I've loved and that I've cared for, just as human beings. And the look or the failure to look is the equivalent of somebody stepping over a homeless person on the street. And I remember I was so excited to see that person, because how John Witherspoon says, once a homeless person, always homeless. In my heart, I was like, once a best friend, always a best friend. I remember I was raised in Hampton, Virginia, and I remember I went back home, and I don't know who I was with. I was with a family member, either my mom or my sister. We were walking in downtown Hampton. They had Bayfest. I think it was my mom, actually, and it broke my heart because this girl that was my quote unquote best friend when I was little, I saw her walking towards us, and you could feel my heart and my spirit just jump up, and she really just walked right past me. And my mom was right there. My mom recognized her too. And that's another thing where I probably got disowned. There's a few reasons, but she doesn't have anyone to say, oh, such and such came by here to ask about you, because really nobody has to come by anywhere to ask about me. That's why I had my full name and everything on social media, because when I went through that legal situation, I thought people cared, and I wanted people to see that I was okay, and if they wanted to reach out, that they could, but people literally didn't care. And my mom, there's not even opportunity for people to come by and pretend that they care. So I guess her eyes, what is she gonna talk to me about? So, anyways, as I walked past those people out there, I felt the vibe, and I was just like, yeah. And there's been a lot of times where, and in the country, it's like that. There's no clubs and stuff like that. So people have, their friends and their family, and I think it's better than anything. Even the older people, that have the music and sit outside, and it's beautiful, right? And the funny thing about it, not funny, haha, but the funny, ironic thing about it is that, and I don't know, I guess part of me is kind of crying, but part of me is allergies too, and other stuff. But so the funny thing about it, the funny, ironic thing about it is that as I walked past, there was another loner that was probably out just trying to get some fresh air. But they felt like a young person. I didn't even look at him. And you see how guilty I am? I talk about people that didn't look at me, that I thought we were friends. Literally. Spent the night at each other's houses, all of that. But this guy, I didn't even look at him when he walked past. But he said, and I didn't look at him because the presence that came up, I felt like, and this is probably how people maybe feel about me, and maybe that's why they don't look. I felt like he was a scalawag. I didn't really look. I didn't look at him, but my mind's eye saw like a raggedy white T-shirt, raggedy pants, real skinny, dark skinned dude, probably between 20 and 30, right? And he says, "Hey, you smoke?" And that's an invitation. And I don't like people that smoke. I don't smoke. I don't smoke. I don't drink. But the other part of that is at that cookout that smells so good with everybody laughing and having a good time. Probably all those people did, but they probably wouldn't be wandering the street asking somebody if they smoke. Now, the other thing about that, because they have their friends and stuff in place. So I guess it's kind of sad because, like I said, maybe when people look at me, I don't walk around asking people, do they smoke or can we get together, or whatever. But maybe that's the same energy that I put off. I'm not skinny, but I am kind of raggedy. Sometimes my clothes, I gain weight and I'm not buying any new clothes. It's just what it is. Um, but another part of that is because I don't know what he means by that. Because I'm not naive as I used to be, but when I learned that sometimes people say things and that's not really what they're saying something else. But first of all, I don't smoke. There's nothing about me that tells you that I smoke. And the fact that you can't come up with something better, than, do you smoke? And there's different reasons. Maybe he just needed a light. You know what I'm saying? But then when I've had people ask me that, I've had guys roll up on me in cars asking me that. And the vibe was that they were trying to hook up that was code for, hey, come get in my car. You know what I'm saying? Um, not feeling that. And that kind of made me sad because that's not the way I want to be looked at, or talked to, you know? Kind of made me sad. So I continued on. Those were black people that I saw out there. And he was a loner passing through. There's a movie, and I kind of previewed it or reviewed it, reviewed it on TikTok called Social. It's about this young black woman, probably like the early 20s, young black male, same age group. And the girl supposedly had ADD. The boy was like, I forgot what, social anxiety disorder or something. But, they ended up being friends. And I don't know. And I remember one time when I went home, my mom, she had tears in her eyes. She says, Morty, you don't have any friends? And she was crying. So I don't know if somebody insulted her in regards to, my social status or lack thereof. And it might have been my sister that did that because, she has no problem being mean, but not in a way to hurt my mom. And if somebody said that, it shouldn't have hurt my mother like that because, she should have been like, shame on him because I'm in a situation where I had a legal thing going on. It shouldn't be nothing to be ashamed of, you know? Speaking of moms, my mom is South Korean. Shout out to, again, all the South Korean and black people out there that are doing well. I featured a couple of TikTok videos. One was Sonya Sone. Um, the other one was Denise Lawson. And there's a Lashante Heckard. I'll do her next. But when I looked at Denise Lawson, a lot of people don't know of her. But she's in a lot of these little black movies that are around. And maybe, and I ask, when I come across other Korean and black people, I ask questions because I want to know, is the reason why my life's so different. Because really, even though my parents were married for a bit, they got divorced when I was like 10. That's not a long time. And then my father was discharged from the military, you know, and I don't know how he still got benefits because I understand it was an armed because he gained weight and was drinking. And then we were raised by my mom in the welfare system. And my mother barely spoke English. She still barely speaks English. And so it makes me wonder, because we were really raised by the school books. So for me, I was raised Korean style and directly by the school books. Can't tell now, but I was. And my heart breaks. My heart breaks. Because, what's her name? Denise Lawson. Both of her parents, they've been married for 44, 45 years. Her mom's the same age as my mom. They may have known each other in Korea. And I wonder, did that make a difference? You know, I don't know. But so, anyways, back to the topic of not my tribe, not my tribe. So those people, black people that had a cookout, I felt like they were my tribe. That's the type of people I would want to be around. But then the way that I looked at the guy that was not my tribe is probably the same way they looked at me. You know, I don't feel like that guy, but perhaps, you know, perhaps. But anyways, I just had to let go of some hurt and pain. I just put that out there. There's probably a lot more, but at least I got enough of it out where, you know, it's out there. And the thing is, I'm okay with, being alone. I could go out and sit out there and do whatever, but then I have some financial responsibilities that I need to take care of right here, you know, that's keeping me, you know. So, anyways, if you could relate to any of this, please tell me how and share with me how, because it would be nice to know. I know that I'm not the only one that goes through this or that feels this way, but it's nice to know that somehow I cross paths with somebody else that is similar in situations, or status. So that's what it is. Anyways, I love you. I'm gonna go take care of these financial things and watch some movies or something in the background and make random TikTok videos just to appease my spirit. Anyways, goodbye. And I may be back if I have something that's too long to say to post on TikTok.